Hey everybody, we decided to come live a little bit early because Trump is speaking on nuclear. What is going on? What's he said and what is the trade on the back of it?
Well, I think the most of this, there's a few things going on here. It's very interesting timing to kick the show off because obviously, as you said, he's speaking now and reiterating things that he's said a number of times over the last few months. He's a very huge, big fan of nuclear. And has publicly called out a number of companies in court, including OKLO, which is the most sort of well-known, if you will, of the sort of new small modular reactor players, who obviously got that order from Meta the other day. They also just got upgraded by Bank of America about half an hour ago. Stock's up about 8% pre-market, and since he made that comment 5 minutes ago, it's gone up another 2.5%. So I think it's worth just mentioning, like, in terms of these very high growth, exciting, speculative parts of the market, nuclear is the one that I really like because it's not only is it like, if you put nuclear up against quantum, okay, quantum is a long way away from being a commercial space. Nuclear is not only a commercial space, but it's massively, massively in demand. The demand supply is way off.
And it's the only answer, really, isn't it?
I mean, yes. Now that we know the sort of, particularly in Europe, the mindset has shifted back to we can do this safely without carbon emissions, and they're slowly getting their head around that. Especially Germany, of course, who have just backtracked completely on their sort of legacy policy.
Yeah, America was a legacy policy.
But and there's a few players, but this stock is spicy as hell. But the ducks are aligned for this to have a massive day today. If you line up Meta, gave them the 1.5 gigawatt order. Retail are all over it. Trump just endorsed them. I mean,
this is frustrating because you said to me that this is going to move,
15 minutes ago,
15 minutes ago, and it's gone from 93 to 96 in that 15-minute period.
I bought 3,000 shares about an hour ago, or 45 minutes ago, whenever it was that Bank of America upgraded it. I actually cut it yesterday because it was a risk management day. And then I bought it back, luckily, at pretty much the same price I sold it, so I didn't really lose much. But today could be, listen, the
prediction
market,
on where this will finish today?
I think this could be a plus 15% day for this stock, easy.
But 100,
where's it going to finish? I think it will
the
close on the highs as well. It's one of these situations where you've got to know exactly what's going on, and the ducks. The only thing that's not aligned is the market, right? If the market was a big bullish market today, this thing would be up 20%. But it can live in its own universe. That's been proven by a bunch of other small caps that are living in their own universe.
Tell us what the upgrade was.
Bank of America upgraded it to $127 a share. It was 127, 137.
Right. I am going to buy 100 shares at 96.63, which is, it's only 9,000 notional. It's just jumped on me.
Yeah, I mean, this thing's going to get spicy.
Stop it. Stop going up before I buy them.
You might get lucky. Obviously, we're trading pre-market right now. You might get lucky on the open. There might be a bit of a dip. But there's certain times when when the ducks align, I just think, wow.
There we go. Boom.
You got some?
Did I get it? No, I didn't get it. Yeah, 96.72. I got it. So in 100 shares, 96.72, because we got to make up for that loss in Netflix.
Yeah.
Thankfully, we reduced the position. We had 200 shares this time yesterday. I took it down to 100 shares, but Netflix down 7%. That's hurting the portfolio. Let's take a really quick look where we are before we get into everything and let you know what we're going to look at today. There we are. So pretty much everything is the same. Netflix, as I say, down to 100 shares, but I picked up another 100 at 81.33. Couldn't help myself with the stock down 7% on the back of numbers. I've bought shares at 81.33. We'll go into the reasons why shortly. But we've also got this 100 shares of OKLO, and then still the £5 a point of S&P 500. I probably should have had a stop loss because what has happened since we were here yesterday to the market?
Well, it's heavy. It's really heavy, but it's also very nuanced as well. I mean, not everything's heavy. I actually can't remember seeing a market like this. You've got these mini bull markets going on, and when if we have a proper macro situation or a proper black swan situation where it's proper risk off, everything will go down. But in this market, it's the indexes and obviously Mag 7 and the stuff that led the market in last year are all very heavy. But some of these stocks, like whether it be micro, or the memory stuff, some of the small caps are all just living in their own little universe right now.
Talk about living in their own universe. You were in a bit of a mess on the open yesterday.
Yeah, I mean, a few people pointed that out. I mean, obviously, it's difficult being on the show managing, a book when it's that volatile in the open. I was dealing with Micron, of course, which was a difficult open yesterday.
Yeah.
And that sort of sorted itself out over the day. And that's my biggest position right now. I'm also shorting SanDisk, which is the other one. It's like Micron on steroids.
Hang on, yesterday. So what was the P&L for your portfolio on the open yesterday?
On the open yesterday, I was down about 150 grand from the open.
Right.
And by the time I closed, I was down about 50 grand. So I made back about 100 grand.
Over the rest of the day?
Over the space of the day. It was a lot of risk management. Listen, this market is brutal. Software is getting hosed. I mean, look, Oracle was no bid. I mean, there's a capitulation going on in that stock.
Yeah.
I switched that back into Adobe, which is very, very oversold.
Oracle was really ugly. When you...
I'm sick of this stock. Listen, you know my thoughts.
That doesn't mean we can't, we're not talking about it.
No, I don't mean I'm sick of talking about it. I just mean I'm sick of owning it. You've got to respect the price action, and the price action sucks.
Okay, but is everybody doing the same thing though? Is everybody sick of it? So they
you know me well enough to know that I love situations, but I can't continue to take the pain in my book. I'll add it back if I need to. I bought some Qualcomm and some Adobe, which is a lot less stressful. Both of which are oversold. Both look good at these levels.
In this instance, I tempted to.
Bear in mind, you were trying to buy this stock about 70% higher. So
I did buy it 70% higher. Well, no, 40% higher.
Yeah.
But I would be tempted to put this in my long-term ISA or a SIP rather than
that's exactly the point. This is a moment. It might go down another 10%, who knows? But if you buy it here and you own it for 2, 3, 4 years, I think it'd be fair to say that you've made a decent investment.
Yeah.
It's just the short-term trading of it sucks.
For that not to happen, of course, the risk is AI blows up.
Yeah, I mean, listen, the question marks have already been placed over the AI capex stories. But the thing about these guys is that these guys are not an AI capex beneficiary. They are an AI capex spender. And therefore, by definition, they have a huge backlog of orders. It's just that the market was celebrating the orders, and now they're not celebrating the orders. And the market has shifted its attention to memory and other parts of the market, because the market's emotional. You know, we're going through mini rotations. And right now, it's off the menu. It's Oracle. I'll come back to it, but I can't. But yesterday was a day of risk management. So
the three big reasons that there is a risk to that trade is, of course, that OpenAI runs out of cash in 2028.
Yep, unlikely, but yep.
Would you say unlikely? Because
I just think they've got so many rich mates, and everyone's it's.
So you think OpenAI will be a success?
I think that OpenAI will be a success. In terms of the fact that I don't think they're going to have a credit problem or balance sheet problem. I think they'll be able. I'm not quite sure whether they'll be able to fulfill the ambitions that they've laid out for the market, because their personal commitments, capex wise, are at $1.7 trillion, which is the size of bigger than most European economies, just for one company.
Yeah.
But.
So that's one risk to the story. Obviously, that's big for Oracle. Second is, of course, a technological breakthrough, easy for me to say, like the DeepSeek kind of moment.
Well, I think that's the nature of the problem at the moment, is that we're going through a technological, I can't say it either. We're going through a technological revolution, and by definition, that's why software is having a tough time, because people are now questioning, whether it be Adobe or all these pieces of software, are they actually necessary anymore? Because AI can do most of this stuff. So it's thrown a huge curveball. But listen, I think you need to just take a step back and just know that at the beginning of every industrial revolution, you have huge rallies in these things, and then it calms down, and then 10 years later, there's a few winners, and the people that you thought were going to be winners are not, and other people have emerged, and the technology's changed. So I don't think it's smart to be drawing any conclusions about who's going to be winning. I just think it's trading-wise, you need to just focus on what's happening now for the next 3 to 6 months, and just beyond that, it's kind of guesswork.
Connor is asking, does TikTok mean anything to Oracle? Is that just noise?
Well, that's a great question, Connor. What a smart guy he must be. But this is how emotional and subjective the market is. When we found out that they were going to take over TikTok, I think it went up 5% that day. and now we've completely forgotten
I
about
was
that.
buying it up 5%.
Like, listen, it gives them a media arm. The profitability impact for them is still an open question, I think, but it's definitely not a negative.
Okay.
I think it's definitely a net positive for them. But they've got $12.5 billion worth of negative free cash flow, and that's the only conversation.
And yeah, it doesn't get fixed quickly.
And that's exactly why Netflix is down 7%. Because they have $11 billion of free cash flow, but that's less than what the market expected. And not even by that much. But it's just a great example of momentum and cash flow and the market having its attention on other things.
Okay, shall we go on to Netflix then?
Sure.
So what were you doing at 9 p.m. last night?
I was...
Good evening?
I was having just a casual evening, watching the market, waiting for Netflix, and I don't remember exactly.
That was your evening last night? Something more fun than that,
just
surely.
the same, mate, every night, just work.
I went
markets.
to the chiropractor yesterday, and I haven't been for about a month. And
about a month? How often do you go?
Oh, like at least once every 2 weeks.
Crikey, right.
Click, click, click. But the reason I haven't been for a month is because my chiropractor was having a child. So his wife rushed into labour 3 weeks early. Their fourth child in 5 years.
Oh my God, that's bullish.
So
Wow. That's a lot of work, mate.
They were leaving the hospital, and the doctor actually turned around and said, "You understand that you now qualify for a vasectomy on the NHS, and you get expedited to get the vasectomy." So there you go. So that's the bit of information I found.
Good story, mate. Good story. So Netflix, Netflix is. Listen, do you know what's funny about this? I said this to my community earlier on. If you before the print, if you'd put a gun to my head, I would have said to you and said, "What do you think is going to happen?" The only thing I would have been able to go by, because it's impossible to try and work out what their subscribers are going to be, would be the price action's been so consistently bad, which is normally backed up by a fundamental bit of news. And it wasn't even that bad, but it's interesting to see the capitulation and this is how crowded this stock was. Netflix could do no wrong 6 months ago. They were going to be put in Mag 7. Everyone's talking about them. I mean, the retail world have been banging on about Netflix, but look at it. It's absolutely zero bid, gone, finished.
That is from mid-November. We've come off the highs at $115, now down to 81. Now, we know the reason around Warner Brothers, that's fine. But if I take you back to April of last year, have a wild guess where Netflix bottomed in April 25, of course, the tariff, Trump tariff, exactly at this level at 81.30. That is why I went in and bought another 100 shares at 81.34, I think it was, and that's exactly where the stock is now. So it's on that technical level of where Netflix bottomed in the worst of the tariffs.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's a big washout, and it needed to happen, I suppose. But what are we going to do in terms of...
Did it need to happen? Why did it need to happen?
Because it was very crowded, and I love that. I love when crowded situations get washed out.
Yeah, fair.
Because they always do, and this was one of the most crowded, in my view.
Right, so Trump is still speaking. I think somebody said before we come on air, put your bets
on. Put Trump on pause to listen to this, Joe. Correct.
Thank you, Happy Tyke, for that.
Diageo, by the way, just quietly up 3.5% in Europe.
All right, you just jump on to any stock you want. Shall we play it that way? Let's go on to Diageo.
Is that what we're doing?
Why is Diageo up 3.4%, Piers Buckworth?
Well, combination of factors. I was having a conversation with one of my mates who's a hedge fund manager and very experienced boat this morning.
What, drinks a lot of...
Who's also... He drinks a lot of Smirnoff. He's long this. Every single fund manager that I know is long this stock.
Yeah.
And why are they long this stock? Because of it's just completely undervalued and completely on its knees. It's also quite defensive, which is in this market. But we're all awaiting the kitchen sink presentation from Dave Lewis. Right? He's going to come in, and for his first ever address to the market as the CEO of this company, he's going to stand up and he's going to just throw the kitchen sink at it. For those of you who don't know what that means, that's an expression, obviously, a well-known expression, but in this industry, it's where you just lower guidance and just throw everything out there. And
we got a breaking story. So Trump has said he will not use force to take Greenland.
There we go.
He will
Market's
not
going to
use
rip now. I need to cover my Euro stocks position,
Go on,
mate.
cover your Euro
For
stocks.
Christ's sakes, I meant to do that earlier. Okay, right, I need to cover this position.
I am also going to buy another 5 of the S&P to take it back to 10.
Mate, I should have done that pre-market.
Well, yeah, so Germany, surely the DAX has a really good rally from that. Let's go, I'm buying £1 a point of DAX at 24,500.
What's happening to our friend silver? Hang on, and gold. Please tell me they're getting absolutely smashed.
Silver 90. No. Well, let's.
It hasn't even moved. It's embarrassing.
So silver 94.22 starting to come off. Is that a second round effect? Right. I've been waiting to sell gold. I'm going to sell £10 a point of gold at 4,844. That is something I've been really wanting to do all morning.
Desperate to do.
And I waited to do it on air here.
I've got to reduce my short in my Euro stocks hedge, guys. So that's what I'm just doing here for 2 seconds. I have a Euro stocks hedge.
Against what?
Against Diageo, Novo Nordisk, and Ørsted. Which, by the way, all of those 3 are non-market correlated, which has actually worked quite well.
Okay.
I'm going to buy back half of my position, which is 10K.
Well, that's tricky to know what to do. Does the market follow through there? Let's have a look at the intraday options, which is, of course, a way. I don't want to jump in. I don't want to dive in any kind of size here, but I would like some exposure. So in that instance, there are 0-day DTE, days to expiry. And if we looked at something like the market to rally another % from here, that would cost me 5 ticks, 5 points to buy. So you can see down here at 68.60, I might just have a little nibble on that. Or do I go, now let's get a little bit lower. I'll pay 9 ticks for the 68.45 just in case this all calms down and we get a bit of a risk bounce of what we were down yesterday. So I'm $20 a point at 9.25. Therefore, I know exactly how much I can lose. $180 is my max loss on that one. And I can kind of sit back and let Trump continue to blow his air horn.
Yeah, so I've covered half my position in my Euro stock short. We'll see whether, I think, the market, he made that comment, which is great, but I mean, still there's quite a lot of uncertainty knocking about. But yeah, I'm quite happy with the positions that I have in Europe because they're all quite defensive anyway. So we'll see how today plays out. I'd be surprised if we see a massive risk on based on that one comment, but it is good to note that he's not going to take it by force because that would have been the messy outcome.
Now, what about your book? How do you have it percentage-wise? US to Europe to UK. What's kind of breakdown?
There's no hard rules on that. My book is, I have a lot of leeway in terms of what I can do. Ultimately, it's a US leaning book. That's the focus. But my mandate is just to make money, which is what I love so much about it, is you can do whatever you want. And actually, do you know what? It's interesting because I'm very tech focused and very US focused, as you know. But I also sit in Europe and I've done European stocks for 15 years of my life. So I know them all pretty well. And they're actually a hell of a lot less stressful, as you well know, right? There's a lot less volatility, right? You can just calmly just ease into them and they just tick along and they just cruise. And it's actually, if you look back in my history of trading, I've actually made consistently quite good money in Europe. Yeah. Because I like to buy things that are very beaten up. Like last year it was Kering or whatever it may be. And they just grind higher gradually. And you don't really have to think too much about it.
Kering's been a great one.
And they don't have this whole retail nonsense to distract you, right? They're just real companies that just grind away.
S&P starting to gather steam now.
Yeah, I'm very happy I covered my short.
68.26. Are we going to see gold come off on the back of this?
I just think gold is just, what is gold doing? Like, calm down.
Right, let's have a look in the last let's go 3 days.
I've also got a QQQ short, which needs to probably. I'm gonna cover half of my QQQ short as well. So I'm actually going net long.
So are we both looking at this as if the market is just so oversold? It's had a really negative.
I don't think the market's that oversold. I think that, quite frankly, if you step back and look at the market, it has barely even moved. I just think that Trump has just taken the worst case scenario off the table.
Yeah.
And the market, and that means that is his first. The skeptics and the comedians will say that's him chickening out. I don't really care. What I know is that that's him giving them an olive branch and saying, I'm not going to, obviously, that's him saying, guys, let's just grow up a bit. I'm not going to actually invade Greenland.
I mean, then gold does not make sense to me.
I love that. Europe called me. Who exactly called you? Right, I just need to cover half this QQQ short and then we're done.
Right.
So
there's another theory to this, and the CEO of Lazard was interviewed earlier today, and he thinks that the US are about to be in the position to go and take down the Iranian regime within the next 48 hours. So this was CEO of Lazard, but he's not just the CEO of Lazard, he is also ex-Obama's presidential circle. So he knows the ins and outs of the budget committee, and he said on CNBC that the only reason that you've had a delay in this is that the USS Abraham Lincoln has been on its way from the South China Sea towards the Middle East. So I've drawn you a nice little map to show you exactly where this USS Abraham Lincoln has been going. So it was in the South China Sea to start. It's now we heard from, I think it was 2 days ago, we heard that it was in the Strait of Malacca, which is of course near Singapore. And it'd be making its way across the Indian Ocean, down the bottom of India, and then into the Arabian Sea, and it's expected to arrive there in the next 48 hours. That would leave it in a position to begin the strike to potentially look.
Yeah, so should we just quickly talk about the Iran situation? Everyone's got opinions on the subject, as do I. I mean, listen.
He was speaking and stated that he had multiple sources that this was the reason that it had gone quiet, that it looked like it was about to happen. It went quiet because they needed the aircraft carrier support, and now it would commence in the next 48 hours.
Okay, it's quite bold for a guy who's not involved in the National Security Council.
Well, as I said, he was part of Obama's government. And
no longer got
still has all the.
He's okay. Fair enough. Well, listen, it's interesting. None of us know how this plays out, obviously, given the nature of the situation. My thoughts are as follows. Iran is a huge amount of noise. Economically, they're on their knees. They have zero leverage economically. They talk a big game. Their only card that they can play in this is the Strait of Hormuz, threatening to shut that down and spike oil prices. That's the only thing they can do to even slightly try and hurt anyone. And if they did do that, I think it would take 3.4 seconds for Trump to send his carriers division in there and completely use that as an excuse to shut that down very quickly. So we might potentially see a very short-term spike in oil prices and a very short-term sell-off in the market, but I think it would be the greatest buying and selling opportunity that you could have, because there's no other outcome. Iran have nothing to play in this game.
Let's take that one step forward, though. We're saying that it'll last about 10 minutes.
10 minutes, 2 days, whatever.
What's the oil price after that?
Well, listen,
it's now $60.
The market, we're not in the 80s and 90s anymore. The market is very, very, very gun shy when it comes to buying Middle East unrest. Back in the day, as you well know, you know, if we saw a Trump sending over,
it'd be $100,
dropping bombs on Iran, it'd be $100. And these days, it's up 14%, and then it's straight back down again. Because what is the disruption to oil supply? And listen, these guys, you know, Trump and all his advisors and all these people, they know exactly what they're doing. And the last thing on the planet they're going to do is spike oil prices. They have control of the situation. I mean, listen,
I go back to you though. What happens if Iran, the risk and the Strait of Hormuz risk is taken out? Where does the oil price land in a week's time?
if the Strait of Hormuz is taken off the table?
That is now no longer a risk
No longer a
because
risk.
the regime have been removed.
It's a $1 million question, mate, because at the moment...
It's $50, isn't it?
Possibly, yes. I mean, you could have said that the other day. I mean, Venezuela is obviously the wild card, but for everything I can see there, it's going to take a long time and a lot of money to get that all out of the ground. So it's... you listen, the market, the oil market is in oversupply currently. So I think that if we took out the upside risk or the downside risk to supply from Iran, it probably would see oil prices, significantly lower. But you know what? I'm never going to give you a strong view on oil prices because it's just impossible, in my experience.
Just going to quickly look at what
Airtime.
what would that be if I was to buy a for the 17th of February, so a nice little post Valentine's, to buy a $55 put on oil is 40 ticks. I am going to have a go at that and just do it in $5 a point. So I'm spending $200 to buy the right to sell oil at $55 on the 17th of February. So I'm going to hold that over the weekend. If this goes ahead like it sounded as if the CEO of Lazard's had heard that it was going to, then I would imagine oil could be 57 on Monday or Tuesday, and you would see that option explode and
cool.
and be worth maybe 3x.
Nice one, mate. And by the way, those of you who are listening and watching and learning, Rich is really good at these options plays, which are quite nicely hedged. So,
right, a really quick break before we go.
Can I go? Yeah, I wouldn't mind a quick bathroom break before we start this open.
Is that TMI?
Too much?
Shall we have a poll on do we need the information on that?
Too much.
We've got S&P 500 now, 6828. It is starting to move. What is going to happen on the open there? Are the Americans going to take the opportunity to get that cheap stock and lift this S&P 500?
Listen, Trump has just said, calm down. So the market's going to rip, I think. Quick break and then we get back for the open.
We'll see you in 2. Right, so it's now getting Trump saying he is stopping the investment firms buying family homes, which is a great thing. So that's confirmed. That was, of course, rumored last week, and now he has signed an executive order. Must be 700th, 800th executive order. Right, we're going to the New York Open, Wall Street Open in 10 seconds. You going to be with us today? A little less stressed on the Open?
This is a trading show, isn't it? A live trading show. That's precisely what I'm doing.
Welcome to the game.
Here we go, mate. Ding, ding, ding.
Right, what is the market going to do on this Open then? No, the S&P is rejecting that rally higher and is now trading 68.17.
Early days, mate. Early days.
It is early
Let's
days.
see what we're going to do with this. Okay. Oh, look at that. OKLO is going to go so much higher. So I bought 3,000 shares of OKLO about an hour ago. As I mentioned, it was about
Where is it now?
5% lower than where it is now. I'm desperate to buy more because
Where is it trading?
Okay, mate. 98.23. And it's up almost 10% now. This is one of these moments, guys, viewers, Rich, where regardless of what the tape is doing today, unless there's some major breakdown, are you going to interrupt me?
Netflix trading higher. We got it at 81.14. It's now trading at 83. Higher
Wait, where are we?
Only down 4.8%. So
It's well off the lows. Right, I'm going to buy another clip of Netflix right now because we've been waiting for this moment. Okay, so we're going to buy 2,500 Netflix, please, to buy. Intel, where are we?
Ahead of results tonight, it's up 6. Or were the results pre-market?
No.
So why is the stock up 6.5%?
I'll tell you why. Because, here we go. No, don't be ridiculous. So, this is what's going on in this market, Rich. By the way, sorry, where's Micron? I haven't looked across. Hang on.
Micron is 367, lower than it was yesterday.
Yes, exactly. There she is. Okay, she's under control. So, Intel there is some very strange, grabby, positiony, optiony things going on in this market. It's very unusual. I haven't seen a market just like this one, maybe ever. And what I mean by that, you've got normal, monotonous, nothing to see here stuff over here. And then you've got Intel just grabbing every day. I'll tell you what it is. It's long-only money getting involved in this stock.
Desperate to get involved.
You've got to remember.
But 6% of that is... You don't go into results on a day when the results are
We're not
aftermarket.
touching this thing with a barge pole.
Right, let's look at the others then.
By the way, SanDisk is...
Right, let's go on to SanDisk in a minute. AMD up 4%. United Airlines bouncing back from yesterday, as are the American Airlines as well. So United and American higher, and Delta. We've got Eli Lilly up 1%. But what is also joining Netflix on the moving lower today, it is Johnson & Johnson and Oracle, 177. The price action continues, Piers.
Yeah, I got out of Oracle yesterday for 2 reasons. One, because I'm sick and tired of fighting this, and I spend all day teaching my community about not being emotional and not getting married to stocks, not fighting price action. So practice what you preach, pal. And I got out of that. And thank God I did. Look at it. Goodbye. Good riddance. What are we doing with Adobe? Where's that trading right now?
Right, let's have a look at your Adobe. I don't know why you're looking at
PayPal is up 1.5. I held on to that. Oh my God, look at Plug.
Adobe unchanged.
Wow, this is really...
How about telling us levels rather than just shouting out names of companies?
Okay, cool. Fine. So which one are you looking up now? PayPal. So I held on to PayPal. Obviously, this is a pain pal. I have, and I'm glad I did. Why did I hold on to PayPal? Because there's just no... I sold Oracle because there is an argument. I can understand the argument for how Oracle can end up going lower. Plus, their balance sheet is a mess. PayPal have none of those problems, so I can't justify selling it down there. Okay. So I didn't. Where are we at on OKLO, by the way?
We are long 100 shares of PayPal, right? Very small position. Is it time to buy another 100, or do you think that? I mean, is there a catalyst even?
Listen, I might have got this completely wrong, but I've done a lot of work on this, and there is something really mismatched about what's going on here. These guys are involved in agentic AI, and they have essentially weaseled their way into the AI platforms as the payment provider. OpenAI literally said they are exclusive. Unless I'm missing something, and I may well be missing something that's not public. This stock is completely mispriced. So we'll find out. It might take a few months to sort of figure itself out, but we'll see.
Gold continues higher, 48.58. Well, just where we were during the break, but 48.58 on gold. That's not doing anything. OKLO looks like it peaked on the open there. It has come back a little bit.
I'm going to buy another clip of that in a sec.
Right.
I'm just listen. The open is a wonderful opportunity to buy, sell, or do nothing. It's if the stock is going to have a really big day, no matter what's going to happen, it will always have at least 10, 15, maybe 30 minutes of sort of volatility as the volume picks up and humans participate, and then you get into the afternoon session where it kind of all turns into algos and the volatility kind of calms right down.
What do you think the price action is going to be on Netflix today? What do people do? If you own this into the print, then I don't think you sell it down 5%.
Just buying 2,000 more shares in OKLO just as it comes back a little bit, just so you know. What did you say?
In Netflix, what are people going to do today? Because I don't think you sell down 5% on the day. If you owned this yesterday, you were in it for a reason. The numbers didn't really change. If you're long Netflix, the numbers wouldn't talk you out of being long.
Not at all. There was a beat, and the guidance was a little bit lower. And the way I see it, throwing all my understanding of markets and this stock into the equation, is that this is a capitulation because people have thrown their attention to other parts of the market. It's a very, very, very crowded stock. All the big guys were overweight, so that has to be taken into consideration. But there was nothing wrong with their numbers, mate. $11.2 billion of free cash flow. Free cash flow.
Yeah.
This company started high growth, high cash burn. Now they've got $11.2 billion of free cash flow. Never mind the EPS.
Right.
It's high quality.
I'm also going to sell 5 puts at the $80 level. So $80, I will buy 500 shares, which is about $40,000 worth. So selling 5, which is equivalent on the IG platform, $5 a point. That means if they don't go below $80 by the 20th of February, I receive 5 times 182. So just shy of 1,000, what's that, 915, something like that. So yeah, so that'd be $900, which we could do with at this point.
Do you know what I like so much about this market's open? Is that it's really low volatility and quite relaxed. You can probably see I'm a little bit more relaxed than I was yesterday afternoon.
God, thank goodness for that. You're starting to worry people.
I did get a few calls.
Yeah.
From those concerned. Should we talk about gold stocks quickly? I just want to share with the viewers some intelligence that I have come across in the last 24 hours through one of my clients, who will obviously remain anonymous, but they are up 12%. They run a very, very, very old school, long only investment book and struggle to beat the S&P at the best of times. But they've had a phenomenal start to the year, and they focus purely on free cash flow companies. They couldn't care less about most of the noise going on gold mining stocks.
Yeah.
And I was given an order yesterday to buy 5 of them, and I haven't heard of one of them. I honestly don't know. I honestly, hand on heart, have never heard of one of these stocks. But have a look at them.
This chart as well. So let's start with Next Gold then.
Is that one of the ones on my list? Yeah,
NEX
that's the Canadian one, right?
Yeah.
But the one that ARIS, A-R-I-S, have a look at that chart.
A-R-I-S. Wow.
That thing is proper parabolic.
And can you?
But the professionals are like,
I can't
buying
buy
that.
When
When I look at that, I just want to short the hell out of it. But these guys, just to share with you, the guy, obviously, who I'm not going to mention his name, is a really old school professional guy, right? And
I've just noticed as well, there's a very wide spread on this, so I wouldn't touch this. A, because I don't know enough about them, but also B, because there seems to be a widespread of about, it's tightening up now, about 40 basis points on there. But you can see that one having gone from $14 to $20 in the last month. So it's up 33% in the last month. And then the final one, Piers, is Fortuna.
FSMUS. Again, that's not as exciting a chart, but all of these stocks have had massive runs. Listen,
Sorry, that's just the time. There we go.
there we go.
That's the
The
sheet.
only reason why I brought it up, Rich, is because I just wanted to share some small cap gold mining stocks with the viewers. Completely off piece. No one's talking about them. They're certainly not in the Reddit platforms. But all these companies, I can save you the trouble. If you looked, I haven't looked at the balance sheets, but I can guarantee you, I know the person that's buying them, and he lives and dies by the sword of fundamentals. So I can guarantee you, if you go and look at the P&L and the balance sheet of all 5 of these companies, they'll be rock solid.
God, that's breaking out really nicely as well.
Note that these people do this for a living, and they're like in their 60s, and they know exactly what they're doing, and they're buying the highs.
The problem is, if I'm right about gold, and I think gold will come off 3%.
By the way, I'm so happy that you said that, by the way. So happy.
Why? Are you short as well? You think gold comes off?
Because I listen to what you have to say about metals, weirdly, and
there's just so I'm
that hurt to say.
I'm worried that this
gold price and these mining stocks have got almost nothing to do with each other. They're completely. I mean, they're correlated at the moment, but like,
if
gold was pass the prices on,
if gold was down 3, this is down 7, right? So that's what
that's why I find fascinating about this buy order I got yesterday.
But this one looks. I mean, that's interesting just on a chart, isn't it? Right. So is that not a cup and handle? Classic.
I love it when you say that, but it looks to me like it's gonna. It looks to me. Listen, gold is getting up to the highs on the RSI, and to me looks like it's got its neck out on the block. And as you just mentioned, all these high beta, small mid cap mining stocks, if gold's down 3, they're down 10. So why would you not wait? Is my question.
Gold traded 4,000 on the 18th of November, and it's now heading up towards 4,900.
Gold is obviously listening to us and just saying, I do not care.
Yes, absolutely. Right, what are we in? 19 minutes to 3. Trump is still speaking.
Netflix is holding in really nicely, by the way.
And Netflix is holding nice. 83.80 now on Netflix. Only down 4% on the day. Would this be one of the recoveries of all time and finish unchanged on the day? Very unlikely, but it's certainly having a go. What are you saying on the chat then, people? We've got Connor, Stu talking about Micron. Where is Micron trading now?
So Illuma's obviously having a good day again, is it? My guys are talking about Illuma. There we go. Oh no, it's fine. Listen, so I'm just shorting another 1,000 shares of SanDisk. I've been waiting to see it opened red, and now of course it's bounced because the momentum in these names is off the charts extraordinary. My Pan American Silver short is actually red, so that's great. I was going to cover the rest of it, but I'm actually not going to do that anymore. But I am selling another. There we go, done, and it's done. Did it get done? SanDisk is living on borrowed time here in the short term.
Yeah, so let's go on to SanDisk then. We haven't spoken about that.
461.75 is my average so far. Hang on, what?
I've never traded this thing. Talk to me about SanDisk. Give me the story.
Hang on. On 2K. So SanDisk is one of the original NAND flash memory companies in the world. NAND flash, of course, is for people who would like a sort of a very basic answer. These guys also do like USBs that when we used to plug them into our computer, right?
That's where I recognize
go into
the name
Dixon's
from.
and you see that. So SanDisk make all the little USBs.
Okay.
But they're also a memory player. They make memory. So these they're a very high beta stock, and they are, along with Micron and Hynix and Western Digital and Seagate, the 5 memory guys who are having a renaissance as a result of the AI demand that no one saw coming,
Okay.
apart from me, and then didn't make any money out of it. So I
So
can't.
what's changed this year? Why is it going higher from January the 1st?
Such a good question. I mean, the point is this: the
250 to 460.
but the market can't keep up with it. So the average price target is $333 a share.
Okay.
What's it trading on? 450.
467.
Listen, the market's lost its mind. It's in the short term, right? But these are cyclical areas. They can talk a big game about not ramping production to try and keep the prices up, which, by the way, is ridiculous that they admitted they're doing that. But nonetheless, as you well know, this is a commodity like everything else, right?
Yeah.
DRAM is a commodity.
Yeah.
And it's out of whack, admittedly, possibly as aggressively as it's ever been in my career anyway. So it might be another year, 18 months, but they are going to ramp. I mean, Micron have just bought another foundry production facility in Taiwan. They have to ramp it up because it's obviously not good for them to have prices up here because the customers, which we mentioned yesterday on the show, are starting to struggle with the prices.
Yeah.
So there's a frenzy and a euphoria, and a lot of people were completely underweight or not even looking at memory stocks, and they've had to sort of pile into it, plus retail and options. But it's all just getting overcooked. In the short term, listen, I'm not saying that this is the top, right? Hang on.
Is there a hedge for any of this?
No, not really, mate.
Because they're all going.
But what's SanDisk doing now? It's not making a new high, is it?
Yeah, up 3%.
Okay, there we go. Yeah, all right, fine. Micron is also doing the same thing. I mean, listen, this is just an absolute frenzy. But I'm not concerned. I'm not necessarily concerned about it because it's because of the stage of the game we're at. We'll see how we close.
Do you think people are just getting carried away with it?
Yeah, and there's a lot of options involved.
Right.
Hang on, what the hell? Well, oh, hang on. That's right. He did. Okay. Yeah. So it's interesting, but I'm going to try and short one more 1,000 SanDisk before the close today, and then just sit with that.
Where are you now on Micron?
I am short.
Did you cover any as it collapsed yesterday?
No. I'm just sitting tight.
So really interesting price action yesterday. After you saw peers go through his pain on the open here, you can see that this is exactly, let's try and get that picture up for you. This is where peers was in pain, was shorting there, and he shorted more there, and it did collapse after that. So fair play to you. I didn't follow you.
It was a good day trade.
It would have been a great day trade if you had closed it off.
Oh, wow. Okay, hello. That's not going out very well, is it? Back to zero. What is going on? This market's so extraordinary.
Right, what have we got to look forward to for the rest of the week then? Because we've only got about 15 minutes left. What are you going to be watching for tomorrow and Friday?
So after we get through Intel tonight, which is no longer a market bellwether, it's just it's a company-specific scenario. They'll obviously give us a small bit of a read on the. It'd be interesting to hear what they've got to say about the memory market because the market is obviously having a moment right now and completely ignoring the fact that these guys are exposed to the PC market, but nonetheless, which of course is memory. But it'd be interesting. They give us the thing about Intel is that they give us a good amount of color on consumer trends in PCs. I'm fascinated to hear about the latest update on the foundry business and whether or not they're going to the 18A process is coming along. We'll see. So that'll be that, and that's the only other. And then beyond that, there's nothing earnings-wise to note until next week. We saddle up for next week, which is where the big boys start. So I just think that's where there's no more major macro data this week. So we're going to kind of just chop around with some support now that Trump's made that comment, I think. But the market remains in a very strange frame of mind. I mean, the price action is extraordinary.
Right, walk us through. We've had a shocker here in OKLO. So
yeah, no, but we haven't because I
bloody have.
How many clips are you going to buy?
Well, that's the question. So is this a cut and run, or now it's doing completely what you didn't think it would do? Are we buying another 100 here, Mr. Research Analyst?
I'm going to buy more, yeah. But it's volatility on the open. This is more volatility than expected, but it would really surprise me if this didn't hold now and grind over the day.
So would you put a stop on somewhere? Where's
Sure. I mean, put a stop at what, 90? Bear in mind, you did buy it pre-market, which is wasn't what I advised you to do. So, so you'd be offside by
My
3%.
research analyst having a little crack at me.
If you want to be a good trader, buy it now.
Well, after it's come off 5%.
8% off the highs of the day.
Brilliant. Right. So we are seeing the S&P go through the high, 6832. I have bought another 100 OKLO. That is going to have a tight stop in it. If we can get the portfolio up there, we'll do a little summary. So we've got 100 shares. Piers' shares are at 96.72. My 100's at 91.88. And we've also got £10 a point of the S&P. So that one's paying off nicely. And Netflix is actually on a decent recovery, now trading at $84. So we're only now down $120 in Netflix, which you almost take considering.
Look at Oracle. What a mess.
Is Oracle?
God, I don't own that anymore, mate. Yeah. And Adobe's green, so that makes me happy. Okay, Qualcomm is up nicely. So it's actually quite a good day. I've just got to make sure that these memory stocks don't continue doing what they're doing, but they're kind of, it's just so silly that I just don't care right now. So yeah, it's all kind of just nicely less volatile than it was yesterday, of course. OKLO, you know what I think. It's had its volatility, and it should grind higher, educationally speaking, over the day.
Right, the S&P 500. We bought the daily call option, right? So that daily call at 6845. We're making a nice bit of money on that. We're making $80 on it. I am going to now sell a higher call. So then that turns it into something called a call spread. Okay, so that just takes advantage of the nice move up we've had since we did it. So going on to the IG platform here, the daily S&P 500, and we will, how far do you think the S&P would go today?
Selling my last clip of SanDisk here, just to be clear.
What do you think the S&P can go up to today? Can it go another 30 points from here?
Yes, I think it can.
More than that?
No, I mean, listen, I don't think it's going to be a very powerful day to the upside. I think there's a lot of questions that still need to be answered. I just think that Trump's put a floor under the market today, that's all.
Right, so I'm going to sell $20 a point of the 6870s, and that just takes out a little bit of the downside risk of the ones that I bought earlier. We spent $200 on the earlier on that position. So we take in now what, about 90. So we half our risk almost on that daily call options. So now I can sit back, let it run.
Did we buy that additional clip of Netflix down on the lows there when it was down, what was it, 5% or whatever?
Yes, I did at 81.33.
Okay, cool. We'll just let that ride. I mean, listen, so far so good. We'll see how we go. I mean, listen, the market.
We're quite long here. So as a portfolio, we do have a lot of long positions. So shall I let the S&P 500 go since we've got the call options? Yeah, we're very long. Just to update you, if you get off your phone.
Well, I'm just trading, but I think we could just clip that, mate. Take it.
Okay, so we'll take the $200 profit from the S&P 500 that we bought when Trump said that he wasn't going to use force in Greenland. We managed to buy some S&P 500 at 6824. We're selling that at 6838. And gold is now starting to behave itself as well. I will predict that gold will be sub 4,800 this time tomorrow. And it's currently 4,847.
Wow, Rich McDonald on the tape. Guys, listen up. He's just said that.
Good stuff, right. Thankfully, OKLO starting to recover after that terrible call from my research analyst pre-market.
What are you talking about? Extraordinary comment. It's a very immature comment, I might add, actually. Right, so let's see how we play out, guys. The first 2 hours is a nonsense show. I thought that was quite good.
Yeah, we've had a phone call from your wife. She's in favour of you getting a vasectomy.
Okay, that's actually, well, yeah. I mean, it's on the cards for sure. My son's actually sitting at home watching this show, by the way. It's quite funny. He sent me a picture.
Zane, big shout out to you. And right, what are we thinking then? This Greenland, it doesn't look. Trump's now having an interview with, I assume, some kind of fireside chat with CNBC, I guess. And yeah, if we now see him backing down on Greenland, some kind of agreement is made.
Don't know what that's going to look like, but yeah.
Don't know what it's going to look like. He goes into Iran over the weekend. He managed somehow that the situation there is de-risked. Venezuela has gone all quiet. What kind of world do we wake up in next week if you don't have a Greenland problem, you don't have an Iran problem?
Well, first and foremost, the machines and the algorithms that have got involved in selling the headlines will then buy the headlines. So you have to get that has to sort itself out, which probably involves some sort of 1 or 2% bounce in the indexes. Then we realized that we turn our attention to the biggest and most important companies in the world. And they're going to tell us about the AI capex and their earnings and the rest of the stuff. And this quarter, for the first time in a long time, it will really matter what they say on their calls, because the market at the moment does not like these companies, which is very unusual, as you know. And it's easy to assume that they're going to be strong and just have a bounce, but it's also feasible that this is a little moment for these companies, and we see, the price action's awful for these companies, right? There's no bid, so maybe they get the capex call wrong. I don't know. All I know is that there's going to be a lot of information that we need for the market. As I've said a million times, the capex, these guys are now a macro pillar of the market because of the sheer size of them.
So of the Fab Four, right? We've got Apple, Amazon, Microsoft, and Google.
The Fab Four. We've gone all the way back to Fab Four. Who knows? We might get back to FANG at some point without Netflix.
Which one of those would you be most confident about into numbers, and which one would you avoid?
Good question.
Tricky.
Should I just break them down individually quickly, because otherwise it's
great,
kind of irrelevant answers. So Google, I'd be surprised if Google's numbers aren't strong across the board, but the expectations are very high, so they're going to have to jump over a high bar. But I would imagine they're strong. I can't see how they are not going to be strong based on everything I can see. Apple's just a wild card. I mean, listen, the iPhone sales are strong, services are probably strong, it's all fine, but what are they going to say about AI? It's also been de-risked a lot because it's been sold.
Yeah.
So there's a good chance we see a bounce on Apple. If I had to do something, which I don't and I won't, I would probably go long Apple into numbers.
This has been horrific, hasn't it? Look at that. Over the 7 weeks down in a row for Apple. Really horrific price action since the start of December.
So that's that one. Amazon, I have absolutely no idea, and I don't know why anyone ever bothers trading that into numbers, because it's a complete lottery. They could give us any margin number or any AWS number, so avoid for me. And what was the other one?
And Microsoft.
Well, listen, Microsoft are in a little bit of a tricky spot right now because of the software argument, but there's nothing really wrong. Nothing's proven. That's all just sentimental. Been de-risked a bit. Azure is chopping and changing its lead with Amazon Web Services. Literally, it's impossible to figure out which one each quarter is going to be ahead of the other one.
6-7, are you?
But it's a tricky one. Listen, my answer is I have no idea. I want to sit, wait, and watch and make some decisions afterwards. I wouldn't be trading any of them into numbers.
Oh, we are having a result here. The market rallying hard now. 68.50 print, 6850 on this. Trump not using force in Greenland is really pushing the market. OKLO back towards the $94 mark. Sorry, 93.40. Looking at the wrong one. Silver now below 9,400. So silver coming off, that's helping the portfolio. But we are back to unchanged after being down $700. £700.
Netflix can close the day green?
Do we think Netflix...
$1 million question.
And we've actually just gone flat on Netflix as well, having been down 7% and down $700. We're also back. So we're feels like we're getting away with a few things here, Piers. In that respect,
Pan American Silver's down as well. That's a gift. Listen, yeah, there's nothing particularly exciting going on in our book, but I do think we could be a little bit. I think by the close, it could look a bit different. This market has grind higher into the PM written all over it. In that case, Netflix will grind higher.
Yeah.
OKLO will grind higher. We cut the S&P long, didn't we?
Yep.
Right. We're long, but what are we short?
we're not short anything.
Well, that's actually, do you know what? I know that sounds crazy, but just as far as today is concerned, I don't feel that uncomfortable with that. I'm very happy that I cut my Euro stocks short in half and my QQQ short in half. So I'm long, pretty long. I'm long about $3 million. Although I'm still my short is up 4%, which is not particularly exciting. But we'll find out how that closes today. But Micron's, where's
Ravi talking?
SanDisk has run out of gas, which is good news.
Let's have a look at the all the moves then.
Adobe's, Illum, look at that. Wow,
yeah, Ravi's saying there. Advanced micro devices, AMD up 6%, Intel now up.
Yeah, these moves are crazy, by the way. There's no news that's associated with this. It's a big grab. It's a rotation, another one, and it's a grab for the out of software and into semiconductors. And it's a powerful thing when the big money, forget retail and all this trading stuff on the side, just when big money decides to rotate. It doesn't care about overbought. It doesn't care necessarily about price. It just rotates. Right? These guys have got to get in or get out.
Should everybody that's watching like and subscribe to the YouTube channel?
Was Moderna up 6%? Did I see that?
Yes, 6.5%.
Do you remember yesterday I was saying that short squeeze? Some of the guys in my community bought that. I wish I had. It's just Scotch. It's massive short squeeze. This could get even more aggressive, by the way. I just can't bring myself to buy it. Up here.
Stu, he says, Rich, you've been great. Thanks as ever. Piers, maybe next week. Cheers for that.
That's fair.
And Gav as well. Cheers. Top show. And Charlie saying Amazon, thinking that's a buy here. But yes, give us a like and subscribe on the YouTube channel. Help us. That'll mean that we keep on
Apex.
bringing Piers back week after week.
Been fun, right? Today?
You've been on better form than yesterday, I'd say, yeah.
Oh, it's so boring, that joke. You said every time.
But as a note, I think yesterday gave a real example of what it's like to be a fund manager.
Yeah, well, let's just address this head on, guys. I'm sitting on a TV show, pretending like I'm not on my phone, but I'm managing $15 million and I was getting hosed on the open. So yes, I'm human, and yes, I have to manage risk, and yes, I was stressed.
But it can be like that. We're forgetting the TV part and everything.
It's
I mean,
a
you're on
stressful,
YouTube, you're not on TV.
We're not really. It's a stressful job, this job. Money's money, and other people's money is,
even more stressful.
Yeah, listen, it's not easy. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm pretty good at it, but it's hard work.
I'll decide that.
There he is.
We'll see you Tuesday next week, 2 p.m. Join us then. It's been fantastic hearing from you. Always feel free to hit us up in that YouTube chat. And if you want to tell other people, that would be very much appreciated. Let them know that there is an alternative to CNBC, an alternative to Bloomberg, an alternative to any other trader kind of TV on the US Open, apart from Tasty, of course. We love Tasty.
The real deal. Right?
Yeah, and they're British.
This is the real deal.
Good stuff. We'll see you next week. Have a great rest of the week, and don't forget to tune in
Apex.
Art of Investing on Friday. Our brand new podcast will be out Friday, 4 p.m. and it will be available on this very channel on IG. We'll see you next week. Cheers.